Good morning. It's the Call Flo Radio Show, and you're on the air.
Good morning again, Farmville. I hope everybody's getting up with bright eyes and bushy tail, ready for the week, ready for the day. I was not one of those people who woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but I'm here and I'm going to do the best that I can. So we have John coming in here any moment. He's always good for a laugh, that's for sure. But in the meantime, I will let you know what's going on in this day, National Day. International Being You Day is what it's called, May 22nd. So today is all about being you. I would think that's probably a good advice for every day, but today we're celebrating it. National Craft Distillery Day. Now, I was up at... where was I at? Scottsville. They have a nice little brewery there. It wasn't open when we went up there, but in California we had lots of these little local breweries, and I think it's great for the economy. It's great for the neighborhood, and we are at the Call Flo Show. So if you have something you want to talk about, the number is 434-394-0924. We'd love to talk to you, find out what's going on, what happened over the weekend. So today is World Paloma Day. Let's see. I think that's a drink. Let me see. Maybe somebody out there will tell me what's in this Paloma drink. On May 22nd, World Paloma recognizes the national drink of Mexico. Okay, I did not know that. This refreshing cocktail made with tequila and grapefruit soda definitely worth celebrating. Now, I like tequila and I sort of like grapefruit juice, but yeah, sounds like a good thing to do on a day like today. If that's the stuff that you like to do. It's National Solitaire Day. I don't know how many of you out there play solitaire, but, you know, that was one of the first games on any and every computer I think people had. I remember being in Hawaii. I was 17 years old, and my grandmother had taken me over there, and we were always playing solitaire. We actually used real cards back then. You remember real cards?
I do.
I hope I didn't take you from anything there. No, it doesn't.
You know how I like to just hang from the rafters and whatnot.
I realized just how boring this show is without you. It's like, where am I headed here? All right, let's.
You were talking about your grandma in solitaire.
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
You must be young. My memory's going. It's going bad, really fast. No, she played solitaire for the first time in her life. She's like 83 years old at this age, and she won her first game. And we're like, Grandma, that was just a fluke. And so she played again. She won again. She's like, I'm never playing again because I can just say I have a perfect record at solitaire.
So she had never played before?
She never had. She saw us, she took us over there for a month, a little cottage right on the beach on I think the south side of Maui. It was awesome, but we were kids. We didn't know
my dad used to play his grandmother at checkers, and she would always beat him. But she was experienced at playing.
All right,
he could never beat her. I don't think.
Grandmothers, yeah. Did you have a good relationship with your grandmother?
Still do.
Oh yeah,
the one that's still with me.
Yeah, well that's good.
Yeah.
I had just the sweetest grandma. So I
got along with both my grandmothers, though.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Really. If not, I don't know whose fault that would be.
My fault, I guess.
Yeah, see, we take things on. It shouldn't be our fault. My grandmother did this thing where she would rub everybody's feet. She had this special lotion, that and she studied Chinese foot massage and everything. But it was great because, when Grandma came, you're like, I can't wait to get my foot massage. And but it was perfect for her. She got time to spend with every single person in the family. So I thought it was kind of a brilliant activity. Hey, what kind of pudding do you like?
Chocolate, I guess. I'm not a huge pudding guy, but chocolate's good.
Do you like tapioca or rice pudding?
Just that. No, the phrase itself. I never had it, but the phrase itself just makes me go. Nah. Now I remember the swirl. You remember where it was like chocolate and then it was vanilla and the chocolate at the bottom. I remember those when I was younger.
Stuff like that always makes me think that they can't make up their mind. They can't decide. So and in the end, do you actually taste both of them? I don't.
It was cool to me. I don't know.
Yeah, the swirl. Well, today is National Vanilla Pudding Day.
Aha.
I'm sure that there's a National Chocolate Pudding Day, but there are other flavors of pudding, aren't there?
I'm sure there is.
Or is that just Jell-O? Spring
Jell-O pudding.
Strawberry pudding or strawberry...
Give them Jell-O pudding.
Oh, Lord. Hey, this one's cool. This is appropriate for us. It's National Buy a Musical Instrument Day.
Yeah.
So what would you buy today if
I had the money?
Yeah. Let's say you had all the funds in the world.
I'd probably buy a replica 5150. Well, technically it's the 1984 Eddie Van Halen guitar, but it's 51. But it does say 5150 on it.
Really?
It was.
What does that mean?
Basically, all right. Well, long story short, he used that as the name of his studio. His home studio.
Yeah.
Called it 5150. The first album with Hagar, when he joined the band, was called 5150. So, but here's the kicker. He had that phrase on the guitar when he was still with Dave.
Uh-huh.
So in 1984, if you watch like the Panama video,
right,
there's a guitar he's playing that's red and white striped,
I
but it's a
remember
Kramer. It's a Kramer. This was the only time probably the first time he ever really endorsed a guitar.
Okay.
He built his previous ones, but this one was one where he went to the factory, designed it himself, blah blah blah. Well, anyway, and that was the guitar, and so they've since then his Fender group that he's with or was with, his name's still with him. They redesigned a replica one. Now people make them all the time, bootleg. You can see them bootlegged all over the internet, and some of them can make them pretty close to looking like. There was something about that guitar. He kept it from '84 till about the OU 812 album, which would have been like When It's Love with Hagar. So there was a nice gap there of years where he had, and that was the one I remember seeing in the videos as a kid. Yeah. So anytime MTV was on, that was the guitar. It had this kind of like a hockey stick kind of head to it.
Really?
It kind of like I think they call it banana. I don't know what the terminology was for it. And I don't know. It didn't look like any other guitar that all the other guitarists had, and I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's always nice to have something that distinguishes you.
Yeah.
How many guitars do you have?
Roughly 3. I got 2 electrics and an acoustic.
Yeah.
But I hardly ever play
them. I'm down from my 15 that I used to have.
Now, I had a friend that used to be like that, but he sold most of his off.
Yeah. You need money. It's hard to part with a guitar that you really like.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to pay rent.
Let's see, eat or strum?
Strum. Let's strum. You can strum for your food. That's the thing. You
strum for crumbs.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Did you think of that?
Yes, I did.
Wow. We could start a whole foundation. Strum for crumbs. This could go somewhere. Seriously.
I'm sure there's something already like that somewhere.
Yeah. Those foundations make a lot of money,
John Staten Foundation, Strum for Crumbs. We'll call it Staten Burr or Burr Staten. I don't care.
Really, sometimes having a good imagination's not a good thing. Oh, God. I was picturing that one.
Strum for crumbs. That sounds terrible.
I think that may have to go up on Facebook.
He's jotting it down.
If you get a good one, you gotta, strum for crumbs.
Or strums for crumbs.
There you go.
That way you have the S
multiples.
on both.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Somebody's getting a patent on it right now.
WFLO. Actually, I watched a movie last night. It was about, oh, goodness gracious. I think it was based on a true story. This girl grows up. Her family. She's an inventor. She just invents, and she invented this mop, the self kind of ringing mop and everything. and all the trials and tribulations that she went through to get, that thing finally selling and building a whole empire around it, because she was just this inventor. And I had a thought.
What's that?
I don't remember. I hate that when I have to give the, you have to give the backstory to get to the story, and
Was
then
it
you
something
forget the
like
story.
she mopped up the competition?
I don't know why I enjoyed that so much.
You're in a joyful mood today.
Oh my. We didn't have any visitors this morning. That was a plus.
Plus.
So what did you do this weekend?
As little as possible. No, I saw my nephew play a couple of games.
I was going to ask you about that, actually.
Yeah. Baking in the sun, watching him.
Yeah.
The sun was leaning on you.
You do have a little color in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got what they call a farmer's tan. You go up the sleeve
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's white.
That's how I always was. Especially in the back of the neck, you know. You're like, yeah. But I always have a good first burn in the summer, and then I just tan the rest of the time.
That's good. I have mostly fair skin, but like I said, I get the farmer's tan every year.
Yeah. Alicia has kind of fair skin too, and I'm like, look at my tan. She's like, go away.
You bother me. Go away.
So, how long does your nephew play?
Mm-hmm.
How
they do it by time? Maybe roughly 6 innings.
Oh, really?
But it's mostly it's based on time.
Okay.
Like an allotted time, and whoever the home team is hits last. It's coach pitch, so those are the rules.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 7.
Okay. Did you play ball at that age?
Yeah.
Little League or?
Well, they called it Dixie Youth. I played. It's still called that, I think, or I still see the billboards for it.
Yeah, Dixie Youth.
And so I played t-ball, and then we went from that to where the kids were pitching at you.
Yeah,
there was no coach pitch when I was coming up. So he'll have another year of that, and then next year, well, a year after this, he'll go to where the kids are throwing at him.
Do they? Is it a league where people actually win and lose, or is it kind of encouraging?
They say
to play?
they don't keep the score, but somebody's keeping score.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody in the stands is like 17-10.
Well, they have an all-stars, so I mean, it seems like to me they're keeping track of something.
Yeah,
to pick an all-star team.
That's true.
So
you have to do something like that. Did you see it wasn't the Lancers. It was like the last softball game or baseball game.
Yeah.
The scores were surprising. They were more like basketball scores.
That
for
high.
Small. It was like 25-26. You know, it's just
no
one
defense.
Yeah, like
unless they were smacking out of the park.
It's slow ball. Whee. Did you ever play like softball, fast softball, or anything?
In school or a church league or something like that, but nothing like dead serious.
Yeah. Did you ever try? Have you ever like done an underhand, like a fast pitch
I used to
underhand?
Like when we go to recess at school and even in high school, they always had me pitch, but I wasn't like throwing it real fast.
Yeah. As fast as you kind of could without keeping it.
Just normal pitch. I would see the girls play with the actual school team, and that girl, she'd wind up her arm and all this other stuff. I'm going, you're going to throw your arm out.
Yeah. My niece played. My brother would coach the team, and he was trying to get her into doing this more seriously so that she could get a scholarship and go to...
Yeah, no, I never took it that seriously.
Yeah, she didn't either. She's like, no, hold the bus. I have other things I really need to do. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
How about you? Did you play ball?
Yeah, I played baseball for a while. I don't know why I quit, but I remember my best friend. I got on my best friend's team, and his dad coached the team. Mm-hmm. And I was outfield because I had a good arm, and so his son obviously was the pitcher. So he was doing so bad one night that he brought me in to pitch, and then after that I was the pitcher, and my best friend quit being my best friend because his dad abandoned him and put me in.
That's telling, because nowadays I don't think that would happen.
I don't know.
I think it wouldn't matter how bad they are. If it's somebody of
Right,
importance,
let 'em
his
go.
kid,
Yeah.
they let them. Oh yeah, they stay regardless.
It's hilarious, though, to see these kids that don't know anything about the game. I mean, my son, I took him to plenty of Giants games in
Right.
San Francisco, and I explained it to him at least 20 times, and he's still like, I don't understand baseball. I'm like, what's there to understand, you know? It's like,
There's no crying in baseball.
Oh, that was good. Oh, well, anyway, certainly I digressed. I have one more.
Okay.
National Maritime Day. Maritime.
What's that?
It's a big boat. It's boats, which are important. Yeah. I just had a thought, and I don't know why I was looking at this boat on here.
Okay.
But being on the aircraft carrier, at like twice a day, they would do this alarm, and everybody would take their trash to the back of the boat, and they would throw it off. And there would be miles of garbage all over the place. I mean, it was like a little disconcerting.
Into the water.
Into the water, yes. Every day, twice a day, you know, and all the boats were doing this. And they're like,
And yet we're supposed to feel bad about other things and businesses doing this supposed... I mean, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, and one thing that they would do was make sure that there weren't any submarines following us before they would allow it to happen, and then they would zigzag. Literally, he would zigzag. So, you know, I refused to throw it in the ocean. I would take it down there if I had to, but somebody else had to throw it over.
All right, Private Burr, why aren't you throwing that trash down there?
Private bird. Jesus. In the Navy.
In the Navy.
Privates in the Navy don't exist, but you know, I
have
like
no
the
military background whatsoever.
Oh, Lord.
I've learned all my military through watching Clint Eastwood.
Hey, what time is it?
It's time to wake up. No, it's like 8:24.
Okay.
You're good.
Went for a little respite there for a second. Alicia and I went to the Hatton Ferry this weekend.
What did you think of that?
That's the second time somebody's like suggested it over the line, and we went. You know, I love getting these ideas. We enjoyed it. It was a beautiful day, absolutely gorgeous. The people were extremely nice. It lacked a little bit of, you know, total excitement, but we enjoyed it completely.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a relaxing type thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Get out. And then we went and had lunch in Scottsville, which was nice. Yeah, actually. Really,
I was in Scottsville
really
yesterday for the game that my nephew had.
Really?
Yeah.
That far away?
Yeah, well, once in a blue moon they'll have some out that far.
Okay. It's not normal. But he lives in Buckingham, or?
Right, and he usually played Gene Dixon Park, which is closer to home.
Okay.
But in the outside games, they've gone so far out as Amelia for one game.
Wow.
And Cumberland was one, which isn't that far, and then yesterday it was Scottsville.
Interesting. Is that so? What kind of league is that?
I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know that they need that because basically it's like this: there are two Buckingham teams, that type of thing, and so they need to have some outside areas to play.
So they don't just play each other all the time.
Exactly.
Well, I lived down in Tucson. They had a couple of these big parks where there's 4 fields all connected together, and in the middle, you know, beer stand basically. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Did you ever do anything like that? Like a softball team when you were an adult?
Just like I said, church league, and whether it was usually, it seemed like to me I played church leagues more than I did anything else. My dad, I do remember this as a kid, vaguely though. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of donkey ball? Do you know what it is?
No.
They would physically hit the ball, and you would get on a donkey and go around the
Oh
bases.
my God! Really?
Yes.
You played that?
No, my dad did.
Okay.
He used to work for West Vaco, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, they used to have this in Prescott. It was a 4th of July thing. They would have the donkey game. It was nuts. It was funny though, wasn't it?
I barely remember it because I was pretty young when he was doing this. I just remember the concept. I don't remember much more than that.
They had that, and then after that, they had the greased pig. And all the kids. They'd send all the kids out there to chase this greased pig around.
Do you really need to grease up the pig? Those things are hard to catch
exactly.
anyway, especially when they're small.
It took a while.
Yeah.
But you had 50 kids out there all vying for the pig.
Okay, those are good odds then.
I find it crazy to me. Yeah, but still, it took a while.
Yeah.
And poor Alicia, she'd be like, that poor pig is terrified. You got 50 kids running after you. You're like, what did I do? God, please. But you got to keep the pig, so that was motivation for most people. I don't know. I jumped on him once. He slipped away, and I was like, no more of this. I was already greasy enough. We were talking last week about doing some different things on the Call Flo Show. Or
like
doing
what?
One was like having a question of the week or something like that, or a question of the day would probably be more. So we could get the motivation would be to get callers to call in. Maybe if they knew the number 434-394-0924. That would be good. You saw me. I was trying to get the Herald up in here, and it wouldn't get. But I went in there and I read a little bit about the whole mining thing. That's kind of in a spot right now where they're ready to make a decision. So. But they're being guided pretty closely about what they can and can't really do. I guess it feels like the committee or whatever thinks they can do whatever they want to do, and they have to do it within the parameters of the law of the state. So.
Tag on those parameters.
Just wanted to make sure that I mentioned something like that because that is kind of top of the news around here. What else is going on around Farmville?
Around Farmville?
Yeah.
I'm a bad one to ask.
Yeah.
I don't really pay but so close. Unless it's something that I overhear or happen to overhear, or like the mining thing. Until I started doing this, I didn't realize that was such a big thing. Living close to the old gold mine, like I did all those years, it was nothing for somebody to drive up, especially on the weekends, and go, "Hey, is the old gold mine here?"
Oh, really?
And they would think it was on our land because our lands meet, and it was always owned by someone else. It was always privately owned, and we would tell them where to go. You take this other road.
You're good at that, aren't you?
Make a living off of it. Because the road to go was right next to ours, pretty much, and it was like like a bit of woods in between, and that's it. And we would always say, no, it's over here and all this other stuff. But it was usually like a couple of people. It was never like this big industry of people coming in with trucks and all this.
Like Field of Dreams.
Right.
Hey, wait. Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just have to remember. Maybe I'll write it down so I can't remember. No, there's a sign up here, right by Merck's place or somewhere, where it says Field of Dreams.
Yes.
And there's a arrow pointing in some direction.
Ball fields there for the kids.
It's just a ball field.
Yeah, I assume they used to have. I assume they still do have games there. I don't know.
We know it's not the Field of Dreams, so that's.
You will not find Kevin Costner or Ray Liotta out there.
Well, I don't know. Ray keeps coming in and out of that corner. That was a brilliant movie, though.
I've never watched the entire thing.
Really?
I've seen a good. Yeah, it's. Those are one of those feel good. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind feel good movies. Well, take The Natural, for example. There are a lot of people, usually sports enthusiasts, you either love that movie or you don't like it at all.
Right.
And I loved it. And even though it's got a very, it leans way more on the majestic side of things as opposed to reality. but I don't know, for some reason when people talk about ball movies, baseball movies, I usually lean towards the natural. That's my feel good movie.
Okay, that's cool.
For whatever reason.
My ex-wife's dad was a minister, and he preached about that movie, the messages that he got.
Which
from
one?
Field of Dreams. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a big deal, like in our households back then. Well, hey, guess what? This edition of The Weather is brought to you by the Bank of Charlotte County.
Hello, I'm Stuart Wilborn, manager of the Bank of Charlotte County Loan Office in downtown Farmville. I invite you to call or come by and see me about your loan needs. Whether it's time to purchase investment property, build your dream house, expand your business, or purchase timberland or farmland, you will find old-school personal assistance with attention to detail. Stop by our office at 216 North Main Street or call us at 391-1136. The Bank of Charlotte County, giving you more for your banking needs. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Thank you, Stuart. The temperature says it's still 52 degrees outside with 100% humidity, and winds are still calm, and the barometer is steady at 30.12. We have a beautiful week ahead of us. It's mostly sunny, all sunny and warm. Today it's going to be sunny with a high of 81. Tonight, overnight, partly cloudy with a low of 54. On Tuesday, very similar, mostly sunny with a high of 76 and a low of 49 overnight. Wednesday, mostly sunny again with a high of 78 and overnight, partly cloudy with a low of 52. Thursday, very similar, little cooler with a high a high of 72. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low of 49, and Friday, a high of 71. It looks like the whole week without any rain happening. It does look like next weekend might bring in some of that precipitation. Seems like every weekend the rain comes and spoils some events here and there.
I make a point of saying that just about all the time when I give the weather.
Once there's a pattern coming, it's pretty good here. It stays kind of
for the
same.
most part, yeah.
Do you have fruit trees? Oh, wait just a second. The Bank of Charlotte County with branch locations in Phoenix, Charlotte Courthouse, Brookneal, and their loan offices in downtown Farmville. Ooh, caller, you're going to have to hold up for just a second while
take the call.
Take the call? All right. WFLO, you're on the air.
Hello, Larry and Don. How are you this morning?
Great. How are you?
Great. This is Allison.
Hi, Allison.
I heard y'all talking about programming. Have y'all ever thought about bringing back the Jerry Clower story?
Has not been brought up.
I'm unfamiliar
with it. I love
it.
that every morning. I know Henry was working on trying to make it more modern,
Uh-huh.
Easier to play in the studio. I just thought I'd ask.
Well,
okay, I'll mention it, and we'll see how the management feels about it. We honestly had not been brought up.
Wow.
and
I miss it every morning. They used to be pretty funny. You look forward to it. 6:15, boy. You had the radio on listening.
Right.
That sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you all.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thanks for calling.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
So I guess we can go on
Should we
to business.
Go to the birthdays? People are can't wait a minute. Just a minute. The birthday calendar is brought to you by Terry Atkins Wilson, PC. All right, my friend.
All right.
Birthday time.
Birthdays for Monday, May 22nd. Here we go. Happy birthday going out to Kathy Midkiff of Dillwyn.
And Kathy.
And let's see, not on that list. And so we go to our calendar here. Janet Slaw.
Happy birthday, Janet.
Hunter Cundiff. Rhonda Gale. This could be Edis or Edis. Ediss. Hammonds. So let me say that again. Rhonda Gale. I'm going to go Edis. Hammonds. Happy birthday. And if your name or names did not make our list, it is your day, whether birthday, anniversary. We hope and wish you a happy one. The law office of Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, is located at 117 North Main Street in downtown Farmville. With deep roots in Farmville and our surrounding communities, Terry and her legal staff specialize in real estate law, wills and trusts, business formations, and collections. Experience and professionalism are extended to every customer in every case. The needs and concerns of every customer are their primary focus. If you have legal needs, contact the law office of Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, for a consultation at 434-392-1422.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
For the right legal advice, visit Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, Main Street in Farmville. Yay. Our number is 434-394-0924. We'd love to hear from you. The show she was talking about.
Jerry Clower. He, to make it as simple as I can, basically a country comedian.
Oh, okay.
He performed for many years. At one time, he was performing in his later years at Dollywood. Do you know Dollywood? Dollywood is a place in Tennessee that obviously Dolly Parton owns. It's sort of an amusement park kind of thing, but they also have a lot of shows out there. I went long time ago, a couple of times as a kid. It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
And so, here we're getting a confirmation about what I was talking about. Just hadn't brought up the Clower thing, but it may come down the pike here at some point.
I watched a comedian last night, and I can't remember his name. He's Edgewood.
Engelbert Humperdinck?
No. Although I do have a story about him.
You do,
I do, yes.
I'd love to hear it.
All right, University of Arizona. It's 1983.
Okay. 1983, okay.
Yeah, it may have been 84. I have a hard time
okay.
remembering these days. My roommate, his cousin was the drummer for Engelbert Humperdinck. So we go on spring break, and we get backstage passes to Engelbert Humperdinck. You know, this is like, woohoo. So
finally, after all this time.
So we're standing backstage. You know, we were late because we were always late at everything, it seemed like. And he finishes his show, and he strolls off stage, and these two women come, and they put this big, huge purple robe on him, and he's acting like he's the king of the world. It's just like, I couldn't believe it. The ego is just outrageous there. But, you know.
Wait a minute, Bill Engvall. Here's your sign. Is that the guy you were talking about?
Yeah.
Somebody just texted
Did they really?
Yeah. Here's your sign.
Yeah, here's your sign. That's what it says.
I haven't thought about that guy in a long time. He did a Christmas song, Here's Your Sign. I don't know if it's still in the system or not. I used to play it all the time.
Well, he talked on this this show. He talks a lot about his time on Dancing with the Stars. It was hilarious. I mean, I guess he made it really far, like to the second or third person on there.
Okay.
I was like, and he's talking about doing these moves that I can't imagine this guy even being able to do. But
Bill Engvall is like one of those later country comedians, like Jeff Foxworthy.
You might be a redneck.
Yeah. So the Jerry Clower thing was before even those guys.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But he was still doing it by the time those guys were coming up.
Yeah, that would be great, having a little comedian in there, you know? Seriously. It's like, hey. And
then you got Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
You had him, too. What the heck is this, Russia?
Oh, my goodness. I haven't heard from him. Who was the other guy that always had a glass of whiskey?
Oh, tater salad. What was his name?
He was. You could see the further along the show got, the glassier his eyes got.
Oh, man. His face was so red.
Yeah. He's going to be one of those guys that has one of those red bulbous noses that's coming out.
Like, call me tater salad.
Well, talking country, did you hear about
Ron White? Thank you.
Yes. Did you hear about Garth Brooks?
What has he done now?
No, the dude's doing a residency in Vegas. And
that's what everybody's doing now.
It does seem like the popular way to make money, I guess. But he was a country western musician that I actually really liked, and I didn't think he was that country. I thought he was more rock and roll.
Well, here's a backstory if you don't know. He wanted to be a rock guy. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't look like a rock guy.
No.
He wanted to be Kiss. He wanted to. That was his kind of music.
Really?
That's what. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you watched, I remember when I was younger, and in the early '90s, that NBC would have these concert specials they'd show, and they would show promos during like a ball game or something. If I was watching, and I'd see this big tub of lard swinging on a
tub of lard.
I mean, a Jolly Elf swinging.
Sure, he would appreciate that.
Swinging. Well, it just looks silly.
He didn't mean it, Garth.
Well, I mean, he's swinging on this thing, and I'm like going, okay, that's Ted Nugent. And then he's smashing a guitar, and I'm saying, there's The Who. And I'm just sitting there going, he's a country dude trying to act like he's a rock guy. I don't know. That's I just always thought it was funny.
Do you like his music, though?
Yeah, I can take it or leave it.
Okay.
I like Travis. If we're going to go into country, yes. Travis Tritt's more my speed.
I would have to agree. And who's the other guy? The good guitar player, Kenny
Chesney. No, yeah. Is that him?
Is it Chesney? Yeah, I think so.
No, I don't know. Brad Paisley.
No, I think it was Chesney that I was thinking of.
Well, Brad Paisley's pretty good guitar player too. Now I've seen him live, and yeah, he can play just about anything. I've seen him play "Hot for Teacher" of all things on YouTube. He was nice. Well, what was hilarious? It's a country concert.
Yeah.
So him and his band are doing "Hot for Teacher," and I'm thinking, that's not bad. And the audience just has this glazed look like, what are you guys doing? What is this? No applauding, no cheering, and I'm just sitting there going, these guys are pulling this off. It's not bad.
So they didn't bring Eddie out or anything?
No Ed. And I was amazed that he was doing it. I was not amazed that the crowd was not into it.
Yeah.
I was not. That didn't surprise me one bit.
That is weird. To me, that seems a bit strange.
Well, from what I understand, some of those acts at that time were doing that. It would be, when I saw him live, he did do a Dire Straits song. He did, might have been Walk of Life, which played just a little while ago.
Okay.
And, to me, that wasn't that far out of the realm, because that song kind of has a country vibe somewhat, but supposedly the band. Well, see, as the artists are getting younger, and this has been over 10 years ago. I'm talking about more like 15. That's the kind of music they weren't just raised on. Country music; they were raised on all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
So it's influenced in the music now. Unfortunately, it's got a lot of rap in it, or hip hop, or whatever you want to call it.
They interject a lot, and I have to admit that it would be difficult to make yourself in this world today as a musician, just because it seems like everything's been done. So everybody's just kind of mishmashing everything together to come with the new. And I'm always amazed that these old artists are still going. So many of them are just still pumping it, doing these concerts. So when you were in a band, what songs did you do?
It could range from Nothing But a Good Time by Poison to some Skynyrd song.
Yeah.
Or something like, or a Stones tune, we've done. I've been in a band that used to play that funky music, White Boy.
Oh, nice. That would be a fun one to do.
Yeah. So, there was always, about as country as we ever got. We did, do you remember Big and Rich? It was a song called Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. And it was... Anyway, that song was sort of like what we're talking about, where the music was starting to change in the, late 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, where they read just...
It was starting to get a little more... urban, I don't know what the terminology, you know what I mean? It was starting to become a little bit more hip-hop influenced, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
For this group. And I don't know, it was just one of those, and I'll tell you why we did it. It was because, and I've told you this before, we started out, this one band, I was the guitar player. Well, unfortunately, when I'm the guitar player, the songs have to be very easy. Very simple. No more than 3 chords.
John, just these two. Come on.
So that was one I looked at, and I saw the tab for it, and I was like, I think I can pull this off. And so they just kept it, even though we ended up with better guitarists and all this other stuff. We just kept it. Just you know what it's like to be, if you play out, you need as many songs as you can get.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's better to have more songs than not that many. And
Absolutely. To be able to change it up. It is. It's difficult to come up with sets.
Yes.
When you're gigging out. It's
Yep.
just really hard. Especially when you're gigging at the same place all the time.
Right.
You got to change it up or everybody's like,
I've already seen this.
Yeah,
you
let's not go see them.
Play some Skinner.
I was thinking to myself, yeah, that I do not know probably a majority of the new artists coming out.
I'll admit to that.
So I looked it up. I'm like, who's the top 100 artists today? Mm-hmm. Well, in the top 2 are Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift. I'm like, okay.
But they've been batting around for a while.
Absolutely.
Definitely Taylor Swift.
Those two, and they've done a few songs together, too, that are pretty darn good. But, yeah. And then those are 2 of my favorite artists right now because they're both putting out so many. They're so prolific in their songwriting that I'm impressed with that.
Yeah.
But then after that, I start to lose everybody. So do you know who Morgan Wallen is?
I've heard the name, and I want to say it's a country artist.
He is. You're right on there. How about Luke Combs?
I know the name, and that could is that another country artist?
I don't think so.
But I know the name.
Well,
yes.
really, this list that I got,
Just because I know the names doesn't mean I know who these.
Right.
I could never identify them in a lineup or anything like that.
Exactly.
But I know the names you're saying.
But
yes.
we're talking. These are some of the top people in the
Okay.
industry right now. SZA.
SZA?
SZA. Great Expectations. If you haven't watched that, that's great.
Okay.
Oh my God, the King in there is hilarious.
But I have heard. See, the only reason I'm somewhat familiar with these names is because I was always the one putting in the newer music.
Right, and that's why I was thinking about it. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, I got to.
But
get
if it
some
wasn't
more
for
time.
that, I would have
Yeah.
no clue.
So Les Seraphim.
I have no.
2 S's.
Lost me on that one.
It's Ellie with a space and SSERAFIM. So it seems like it might be French or something. Drake. You know Drake, though. You've heard.
Well, I've heard the name. Yeah.
Well, he had a couple really popular songs a few years ago. The one where he filmed and he gave about $1 million away.
But of course he
and
did.
And so suddenly he became really, really.
I know he's not the
popular.
French guy. I'm just being silly.
Well, he's done some stuff that I'm like, oh my God! A kindergartner just did the song. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. And I don't know how they make money off of this stuff. But
I don't know.
I think he's one of those molded type of artist. I think that he's been taken by a record company, and molded to what they want him and need him to do.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus, we know her.
Oh, yeah.
Peso Pluma.
Okay.
The Weeknd.
Heard of that.
Seven-
The Weeknd is this guy that's been, for a while now, I don't know if he's still doing it.
Uh-huh.
All of his songs had a very 80s kind of sound to the music.
Really?
Yeah, like very synthesizer heavy type stuff
Wow.
with a lot of, beats behind it.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I think I vaguely remember. He's been on the charts for 409 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be up there. 17. Does that ring any bells?
I remember that being a Winger song. She's only 17. That's all I remember.
Well, in the next 5 you probably know.
All right.
Lil Baby, Metallica, Post Malone, Harry Styles.
Metallica's still up there?
Yeah, number
Wow.
13. I was surprised at that too, seeing it. Did they just recently come out with an album? Though?
They could very well have. I haven't followed those guys in a long time.
It feels so.
I gave up on them a long time ago.
Yeah, it seems almost impossible to keep track of these folks today.
Yeah.
WFLO, you're on the air.
Good morning, Don and Larry.
Good
morning.
morning.
I would think it'd be really nice to have the hymn time that, like from 11 to 12. I'm sure John remembers that, don't you, John?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be wonderful. just an idea, okay?
All right.
Oh, we
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you. We're taking all
Have a
ideas.
great day. I like y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. So you remember that?
Yeah.
Hymn time.
Yep.
Nice.
So what's being brought up are the things that Henry used to do on AM.
Okay.
Whether it was Clower, whether it was Hymn Time, that stuff was what was originally being done on AM 870 before the sale. The sale went through, and since we brought it back, but those were the things that Henry was doing on Flo AM.
Interesting. Do you guys have like archives of any of that stuff back
You know
in the
what?
days?
You would think so, but to my knowledge, if they do, it's very few and far in between.
Okay.
Probably hardly anything.
Right.
They didn't run a lot of tape, and if they did, it never got transferred.
Right.
And by the time you could have transferred it, someone to think to do it, I think the tapes were pretty much,
Right.
played out. In other words, they were either in very bad condition, the heads were messed, something was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I saw some of those reels, and they looked like they were in bad shape.
My first week at Cherokee Studios, they had me cleaning out this attic, and
Right.
it was filled with old 2-inch tapes from like Steely Dan, Dire
wow.
Straits, all these bands that they'd done. And they had cooked them. I don't know. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I know they do that with film,
Yeah.
old film.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do it with audio as well.
They do, and they cooked them a few times. I guess they were not any good anymore. I didn't get a chance to throw one on the player to see, but another one of the guys working there, he came back at night and dumpster dove all those suckers, and he kept them. And I'm sure he probably made some money off of those.
I would
old
imagine
things.
so.
Yeah. It felt weird throwing away history. A lot of them, I guess, were recorded on the yacht that they own. They put a recording studio in the yacht, and that's where they would take people out and record.
Unfortunately, that's what happens with things that you would think are precious, and I don't know, for some reason, someone else. Usually, younger generations come in that take over, and they're the ones that deem it. Just
Those younger kids,
those whippersnappers. Well, it's like
they don't know what it's like.
the old Western sets that CBS had for Gunsmoke and or whatever else. Those things just went by the wayside. Well, we're not making Westerns anymore, so let's dump all this and make it a parking lot.
There's some pretty decent, like, Western movies that have been done in the last, 20 years?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to remember. What was the one? Yellowstone? Was that the one? No.
Tombstone?
Was that the one where he's trying to catch that train, and they're always trying to catch a train? Anyway,
Catch a train.
certainly I digress here.
I'm not sure. Tombstone's the one. Now, see, that came out when I was in high school, so that's probably further out than what you're saying. That was like 93. And that was Val Kilmer. That was Kurt Russell. That was like Gunfight at the OK.
Yeah.
So two Westerns, two Wyatt Earp movies came out at the same time. That one and the Kevin Costner one. And Tombstone outperformed Kevin Costner's.
Okay.
There's an interesting. I'm not going to get into it, but there's an interesting backstory there about those two films being made roughly at the same time. One was trying to sabotage the other. I'll just go as far as saying that.
Certainly, you digress.
No, I got a whole book on it.
What'd you say? Tub of lard?
I only use that reference for special people.
Oh my God! So there's all kinds of stuff happening in the entertainment world, but
Such as
the Foo Fighters, they got a new drummer now that after Taylor Hawkins' death, it sounds like they're going to go on tour and do some stuff. Did you like the Foo Fighters?
I'm not a huge fan.
I don't know how many really hits they have. I think they're more than I can think of.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Taylor Swift says she's never been happier 1 month after her Joe Alwyn split. I didn't know she was with anybody.
She's not with him long if she is.
Oh. Actually, last night was the final
She ought to have a whole new album coming out. She's got a new relationship now to base a record on.
Exactly.
But
I'm
go
happy
ahead.
that you're gone. I'm so happy that you're gone.
Go ahead.
I am Tanji. He wins the final American Idol after 21 seasons.
Wow.
You watched it at the beginning,
Way
right?
back.
I didn't. It looks like a Hawaiian guy.
You know, the
actually. It
last
looks
season,
really nice.
the only season I can recall that I actually watched all the way through was the one with Catherine McPhee, and I guess the blues guy that had the grayish hair that ended up winning. I thought Catherine McPhee should have won, but
yes. Well, this picture's really funny because the country guy is standing
That's
on
going
one
way
side,
back.
and then this little brunette sandwiched between this country guy and this Hawaiian guy, and it's just kind of like you could tell that they're trying to represent all the genres all in one little grouping there. So, but that was always
it's good to know that I can ignore something completely and yet it still exists.
and that it still is irrelevant and doesn't matter. Oh my. Yep, nothing.
It's usually the things I do ignore that still exist. It's the things I actually like that go away. Funny how that works.
So, did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad. No, I've heard about it many a time.
Not
but
at all.
No.
Wow.
No.
It's one of the highest revered shows. Was there a reason that just kept you from it, or?
I don't. Did it come on a regular channel, or was it one of those things you had to pay to watch?
No, I think it was just a regular. I don't know which.
Who's in it? Who's the guy that's in it? Who's the main guy?
Oh man, now you're asking the hard
Is
questions.
it Cranston? Somebody? I don't know.
He's been touted as a genius.
But see, that's nothing out of the ordinary because I tend to not go where the. Oh, this is the highest rated show of all time. Usually that means I don't watch it.
It wasn't to start, you know.
It built an audience.
It really did. And I actually quit watching it for a while because every season it would just get so violent, graphically violent, that I would be like, all right, I don't need that in my brain. And then I'd forget about it and watch another season.
There's certain shows I did watch that were popular at one time. Mad Men. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
I watched that. But it was, honestly, it's usually about, especially back in the day, it was always about when it came on.
Yes.
And Mad Men reruns were always shown on early Sunday morning before I'm getting ready to go to church, which was a perfect time for me to sit there and go and sit in front of the TV and watch something.
Right.
But if you're going to put something on at a certain time and a certain night and it doesn't gel with my schedule, whatever that may be, I just won't see it.
Yeah.
And this was before knowing about DVR and recording something to watch later and all that sort of stuff.
I find it interesting how they're getting commercials back into our watching by offering free movies and stuff like this, but you have to watch the commercials, you know,
right,
and not have to pay for it.
Right.
And it's kind of a give or take, I guess. I don't really mind the commercials all that much, except for it's wasting my time.
Well, I'm sure it's because you and I, we when we came up, it was no big deal to have. I mean, commercials were in what you were watching.
Absolutely.
You had to wait. So what maybe made things more special was the fact you had to wait for it to come on. That one time it would come on.
Right.
And whereas now, I can watch that later.
Yeah. If you missed it, you missed it forever.
Yeah.
Until it came out in syndication.
And or if they did it in when they ran reruns during before the fall.
Yeah.
Whatever the thing was. When they were in hiatus, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, during the charts. Oh, it was Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. They were the two.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of the show, and I'm aware of who he is, but
Walter White.
Never watched
it. Yeah, I forgot who the actor was. A very well-respected actor said that he thought that Cranston was probably one of the most talented actors he'd ever seen in his life. It'd have more value if I knew he said that. Oh, hey,
but I don't watch Yellowstone. I don't watch. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people watch and talk about, and I've never laid eyes on it. But go ahead. What were we going to?
Oh, I was just thinking how many series we've probably binged and wouldn't remember. What we do oftentimes is we watch something, and then a few months later we look at it again as if we hadn't watched it because we forgot about it, and then we'll be halfway through and go, Oh, yeah, we watched this already.
Right.
That's age, I guess, is what it is.
Maybe. Short-term memory.
You want to take bets? Is this first-time caller?
I don't know. Can't be long, though. We're already past the time.
WFLO. Your 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 WFLO. Your